Welcome everyone to the Venture Development Center. If you haven't already noticed, there's an entrepreneurial renaissance underway in the Boston area, and many of you in this room are responsible for that, and so it's as much tonight a celebration of what you've accomplished as the part that we've played in it, so congratulations and welcome. One of the stories that goes untold about the entrepreneurial renaissance in the region is the role of the 8 research universities in the Boston area play in the innovation economy. They've really started to embrace entrepreneurship as part of their missions, following MIT's lead perhaps, but all of them seem to have embraced entrepreneurship in the last 2 or 3 years in a way that I've never witnessed before in my decade here. I ought to know because they come and visit us and try to figure out what we're doing. But it's only natural that they embrace entrepreneurship because they're filled with people, tens of thousands of people who want to change the world. And after all, that's what entrepreneurship is about and what drives us here at the Venture Development Center. There are amazing things happening at each and every one of the universities. Business plan competitions, weekend boot camps. Northeastern's got a great student organization underway. Most of the teaching hospitals at Harvard have their own internal venture funds. UMass, of course, has one. So there's reason to be hopeful as we try to pull out of this recession that the universities will help be a stabilizing force as well as an engine of innovation. Tonight you're going to hear about what we're doing here at the University of Massachusetts Boston under Chancellor Motley's leadership and the great team that we have on the faculty and here at the Venture Center. I think it's a great example of kind of the transformation that's happening across the region in our universities, and that's why we're going to talk about it tonight. During the last decade, UMass has really become, as a system, an amazing engine of entrepreneurship and innovation in the region. I've been privileged to be part of it for the last decade, first at the President's office for about 6 or 7 years. And then I had the privilege of coming to this campus to help build the Venture Development Center, including pitching to Chancellor Motley to give us this space, which he agreed to do on the condition that we raise all the money externally, which we did. But let me tell you what's happened at the University of Massachusetts. Yeah, some things never change. But it was a leap of faith for him. He had many competing proposals for this space when it became available when we built the new campus center. And I guess I was on the right team. So when I joined UMass about a decade ago in the President's office, the 5 UMass system, 5 campuses of the system were at $225 million a year in research and development expenditures, which is nothing to sneeze at, and $8 million in technology licensing income. Now, 10 years later, today, we're at $500 million in research and development expenditures and an astounding $73 million in technology license income. That is not easy to do. It's a record of performance that will put the University of Massachusetts in the top 10 of all universities in the nation when the rankings come out next year. UMass does other things to fuel and build the innovation ecosystem here in Massachusetts, and they range from workforce development to a set of venture incubators, of which we're a part. And so the VDC is really one of the examples of what we do here at the university. Since opening the incubator a year ago, we've had the pleasure of working with some amazing founders in technology and life science who are experienced and are launching some incredible ventures, several of which have already received term sheets in less than a year of work. These are not companies that build something overnight at a weekend boot camp or in a 3-month incubation program. These are huge mountains people are climbing, the type that people expect Massachusetts to climb traditionally, and we know that many of them will be successful. Most of these companies come from outside the university, as well as a couple come from inside the university that have been founded by our own faculty. at the Venture Development Center, they not only enjoy these incredible facilities that we have, wet labs and offices, but they also get the top-tier mentoring, connections, and talent, the exact same people that leading venture firms in the region use to support their own portfolio companies. We simply believe as a university that this is something that we ought to offer to every founder in the city, in the region, because we want more founders to be able to launch with the best and continue to propel our economy forward. So we invite you to take a look around here, enjoy the Venture Development Center, talk to me if you have any questions about it. What you're here tonight to celebrate, however, is several additions to our entrepreneurship program that the Chancellor will begin to talk about, as well as our panel. So with that, I'm going to introduce Chancellor Motley to make an official welcome to you and an introduction to the new things we're going to be talking about. Thank you.
So thank you, Bill, so much. I really appreciate it. It's great seeing everybody here. I'm especially proud to see all of our alums that are here, particularly those who've just graduated recently from this institution, walking around in this space, so proud of this space, knowing it when it was a cafeteria, and knowing when it went offline and so many people were upset, and now today we stand here in a beautiful space with so much potential out on this beautiful peninsula at this university that's going to change the lives of so many people, and I'm so proud to be its chancellor. For those of you that I don't know, I'm looking forward to meeting you tonight. I'm Keith Motley, chancellor of this university, and very proud to be be a colleague of all those individuals that you're going to meet that have really made a difference here. It was on May 1st of last year that I stood right here at the grand opening of the Venture Development Center, joined by my colleague and friend, Harvard President Drew Gilpin-Faust. Mayor Menino was here, also Senator Jack Hart, and our president, the president of the University of Massachusetts System, Jack Wilson. Our hope was that the Venture Development Center, located in the heart of our campus, would help us recruit entrepreneurial-minded faculty, give student interns valuable startup experience, and welcome companies that wanted to partner with us, with our faculty and our students. Our vision was to create and extend innovation south along the Red Line to UMass Boston, to work alongside our colleagues at MIT, Harvard, MGH, and all others who were along that line. So we sort of imagined those possibilities, and we're so grateful for that today. This Venture Development Center has already done all of that and more. Congratulations to the center's team. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. And so what I'd like to highlight today is the special opportunities that we are giving our talented students who exemplify the entrepreneurial spirit of this university. At our 42nd commencement held right around the corner out in front of the campus center on June 4th, there were 3,371 people who were going to graduate. Over half of the 2,115 undergraduates who were there were their first in the family and their families to go to college. A university education is not something that we take for granted. For the most part, they're here because they fought for the opportunity. Just look at our JFK or our John F. Kennedy Award winner, which is the highest award that we give to a student at commencement. That winner, Val Doe, who secured a coveted research fellowship at NIH. Many are paying their own way to go to this institution. Most have sought and secured financial aid, filled out their own forms, worked long hours at difficult jobs, and balanced family responsibilities. They are not coasting through an education when they come through our gates, and they're not just looking forward to going to class every day and going home. They understand that this is going to prepare them for the so-called real world because they are living it. They thrive on challenges and are always looking for opportunities to grow and contribute. Don't they sound like the type of talent that you want with your company? All around you, there are people that could be on your startup team. Aren't they the type of people that we need in this Commonwealth to jumpstart the economy? The answer to that question is yes. You're going to feel it. We're going to be pressing up against you all night tonight. And that's why this Venture Development Center is so powerful. It benefits not just the stellar faculty of this University of Massachusetts, Boston, but it tells you about and works with the extraordinary quality of the students that we have here on this campus as well. Here is an example of how our students are powering the region's top-tier startup companies. Veridity is a venture-backed startup company that provides data center management software that achieves high energy efficiency, optimization, and eco-friendliness. Veridity initially hired Adrienne Cochran as a marketing intern, then hired her full-time when she graduated. Veridity also hired our student, Mike Siciliano, as a software development intern. Then they hired him as a full-time when he graduated. And now they have hired Joe Cohen as a software development intern, and I know they're going to hire him, Veridity, when he graduates, right? There you go, my man. Getting you a job already tonight. There's so many stories like this all around the room. So far, 27 high-tech startup companies, some located here in the Venture Development Center, labs, and offices have hired 47 students as paid interns in marketing and sales, software development, and in finance. Please join us at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and support our Venture Development Center, our Entrepreneurship Center, and also our Entrepreneurship Specialization, and give our future entrepreneurs a chance. We can make tangible contributions to the local economy through this Venture Development Center. We can do this. I've been speaking about this pathway to excellence that the University of Massachusetts, Boston provides. Typically, that's understood in terms of what we offer to our students. Today, let me suggest to you that we offer a pathway to excellence for your business. For years, we have assisted small businesses through the Small Business Development Center at the College of Management. Now, with the opening of this Venture Development Center and the Entrepreneurship Center, we were able to step up a level and offer a pathway to excellence for venture-backed startups, and we're very proud of that. So the University of Massachusetts, Boston is a place of opportunity and a place of change. That's the message I want you to stress. That's the message I want you to take out of this room to those others that you need to talk to about what we do. Take away the spirit that you felt today. Take away the relationships that you developed because you are a part of it. That's an exciting reality for you and for us, and we're so grateful. Thank you all for your hard work, and thank you for being here today.
We're going to hear from Dan Phillips, our entrepreneur in residence, and Dr. Benjamin Liechtenstein, our professor in the College of Management who is running the Entrepreneurship Specialization. They're each going to give 3 minutes, I promise. We will be done before the Celtics play. And if not, we can fire this baby up and watch it on that. Actually, this is a scientific instrument. It's not a television. And then we're going to hear from our distinguished guests, Secretary Bielecki and Doug Banks. So I would like to introduce Dr. Benjamin Liechtenstein, who's going to talk about the Entrepreneurship Specialization that we're unveiling tonight at the university. And let me give you a few tidbits about my colleague. He is the research director for the Entrepreneurship Center and teaches undergraduate and MBA courses in entrepreneurship at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. He has published 3 books, and I think he has one I saw tonight that just is hot off the press, and more than 40 papers and chapters on the emergence and transformation of startups. Benjamin, thank you.
Good evening. So the students of mine who are here know it's like a chain being stuck to this microphone. I'd normally be walking out and saying things here. I want to, we are excited about launching the Entrepreneurship Specialization and the Entrepreneurship Center. So the Entrepreneurship Center is an entity that supports what is going on here at the Venture Development Center. And the Entrepreneurship Center is housed both here in the VDC and in the College of Management. I want to introduce Dean Phil Quaglieri, who's the Dean of the Management School. Phil has been especially supportive of all the work that we have done. The Entrepreneurship Specialization is unique in the region. So almost every MBA program in the region has students who can specialize in entrepreneurship, but we're the only one that requires the core entrepreneurship course and a practicum. And the values that underlie that are the values that you'll hear more from Dan, that when we graduate students from our college, they are already engaged in entrepreneurship. It's not a theoretical activity. And as you talk to the students around here, the interns and those students wearing blue who are creating their own businesses, you'll see that it's the raw, it's exactly as Chancellor Motley said, it's that raw passion and motivation. It's getting beyond the odds that most other students in the region don't have to get beyond, that creates an edge to our students that is why I'm so excited about this Entrepreneurship Center. In terms of research, there's I'm not going to bore you with research, but there's a series of initiatives that we're working on that are designed to improve the quality of your companies and the quality of venture capital in general. And in terms of the program, we have a program for MBAs. We teach undergraduates. We have courses in technology and marketing and new business development at the business school. And our leading edge is social innovation and moving towards clean tech and a certificate in clean energy through the business school. So thank you very much, and on with the show.
The third leg of the stool, the most important one in my opinion, is Dan Phillips. Dan Phillips is the founder and director of the new Entrepreneurship Center that we're unveiling tonight. He has spent the last 25 years as an executive with 4 venture-backed startup companies in the region, all software. Amazingly, he's been funding his own scholarships here for 15 years. And it's through Phil Quaglieri that we have gotten together and have adopted him as our entrepreneur in residence, which means that he's my mentor. 2 of the companies that Dan founded have gone public. 2 were acquired by Fortune 200 companies. As I mentioned, he has opened our eyes by creating an entrepreneurship internship program for our students here at the university, both from the sciences as well as from management. And we look forward to many additional contributions that Dan will make in showcasing our students. Dan, please.
To do this for me. So how many people are here at UMass Boston for their first time? Well, that's good. You know, I'll give you kind of the concept here, and I'm going to steal a little bit and repeat a little bit of what Chancellor Motley said, but kind of the concept here. And as you spend time here, you'll find that there's this student body, there's this culture here of very unentitled, very purposeful hardworking, smart students who just know how to handle adversity, and they're gonna be successful, you know? And there's a whole culture here of that. And for the world that I come from, which is venture capital-backed high-tech startups, I mean, that's the exact culture you have to have in your company to succeed, you know, especially today, right? In this economy, you cannot have a workforce that comes in and, you know, starts with your company and says, what's my title? You know, how many stock options do I get? And when do we go public? You know, it doesn't work that way. We all in this economy need a workforce that wants to go in and wants to do whatever they have to do to work hard and build a career and build a successful company. So we had this, you know, idea, why don't we train UMass Boston students to be the workforce and leaders for the next generation entrepreneur economy? Why not, right? It's brilliant, all right? So what we did, we put an entrepreneurship specialization together. So we now, students can learn about entrepreneurship. We're just launching an Entrepreneurship Center, which, as Benjamin has said, it's an environment where students can practice entrepreneurship, but in a very live, real world, in the streets, in your face setting, right? And they get mentorship, which I'll talk a little bit about, and they also get, again, I'm repeating myself a bit, but many of you are here for the first time, get internships in the best high-tech startups in Massachusetts, or they're students launching their own startups, right? So, and we've just kind of started this program, right? We're new at this, but the results so far, so we have 51 UMass Boston students in paid internships in the best startups in Massachusetts, and these are in software development, QA, marketing, sales, IT, and finance. And we have 9 student-based startups launching as we speak. And we have a very impressive group of venture capital firms who are supporting the internship program by promoting it to their portfolio companies. We have 27 startup companies hiring our interns. We have a mentor and advisory board of just kind of the who's who of the venture capital world available to mentor our students. And, you know, we're just getting started, but, I mean, this thing, it just makes sense, right? I mean, this whole idea it's working. It makes sense. And if you look at the people in this room, you've got, there's a great cross-collaboration here. This, you know, there's a lot of startup people in this room, which makes me feel comfortable, you know. But there's a lot. There's UMass Boston here. There's the education community in general here. There's students here. There's alumni here. But there's also the state here. And there is the startup entrepreneur community here. So it just works, you know, I think really because all of this is plugged together. So, you know, the reason that this works is we get a lot of help. We get help from private enterprise as well as the university. So we value everybody's expertise here. We need it all. So if anyone wants to help and participate in this, we'd love to have you. Talk to me. I'm very easy to find. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. It's my pleasure now to introduce Secretary of Housing and Economic Development, Greg Bielecki. To many of you who travel the startup circuit, he is ubiquitous. I've never seen a cabinet secretary mix it up more with the innovation economy than the secretary, and with the governor's full support. This is his second time here, and Secretary, for all of your leadership and your encouragement for everyone in the region. It's really made a huge difference to have the state government behind the efforts of the universities as well as the private sector. So truly, it's made a huge difference. Greg is an advisor to the governor as well as a cabinet member, and he also serves as the government's the governor's development cabinet secretary. And the development cabinet, if you don't know it, is a huge portfolio of many different state agencies that work together to make the quality of life and the environment in Massachusetts suitable for business and suitable for raising families. Before joining the Patrick Murray administration, Greg was a 20-year career in development and environmental law at the law firms of Hill & Barlow and others, and his work focused mostly on major urban development projects. He's also worked extensively with public agencies, nonprofits, and private landowners on conservation issues, and his leadership is truly felt in the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Is this on? Yeah. So thank you very much, and for starters, on behalf of Governor Patrick and me, congratulations on a great first year, really extraordinary first year, and it's great to hear all the things you're doing to build on that success. The governor and I are very optimistic about the future of Massachusetts right now, which is kind of a challenging thing to be, because I think it's a lot more fashionable right now to be pessimistic about the future. But we are, and that's understandable, because it's been a very serious downturn. If you haven't been personally, financially affected, probably someone in your family has, or a friend of yours has. And so that's a very legitimate feeling. But we're very optimistic about the future. Massachusetts has come through this downturn much better than many other states, which is unlike our experience in the last 2 recessions. We're really hitting our stride in a recovery. We've added more than 30,000 jobs this spring. So we really feel like we are getting out of this market cycle now. But even beyond that, really, our optimism is really about the long-term future of Massachusetts. And if I had to pick 2 words to describe the basis for that optimism, one would be innovation and one would be collaboration. On the innovation front, the reason why it's exciting to be in Massachusetts right now, when you look at the state of the country and really the state of the world, what happens every time you have one of these major recessions or downturns, it causes everybody to question everything about what we're doing. Well, how did our economy get in this trouble? What were the private sector problems? What did the government do or fail to do? And what we're seeing, I think, almost universally, and Dan touched on it right now, is that everyone's seeing that innovation and entrepreneurship are what's going to take us out of this, not only to recover our economy, but it's really the way we're going to address the major social issues we're facing right now, whether it's climate change or whether it's providing affordable health care to everyone in this country and around the world. And if you see everything you read in this country and there's a tremendous confidence right now that innovation and entrepreneurship can be the solution to all these problems. It can make money for people, but also make our world a lot better place. And so that's a great thing for Massachusetts, because we are right in the middle. We're a tremendous global hub of innovation and entrepreneurship. And there's a lot of reasons. We have a great number of experienced entrepreneurs here. We got a great venture capital pool here. But primarily, and as was mentioned earlier, it's because of the research universities here, because it starts with the ideas, and that is what a lot of other places, as was mentioned, around the world, people coming here every day to say, how do we get what we have here, starting with our universities. And so to do what UMass Boston has done and to recognize that advantage and capitalize on that advantage through the Venture Development Center and the Entrepreneurship Center is exactly the right thing to do. So that the fact that innovation and entrepreneurship are recognized so broadly now as being key to our country and our nation's and our world's future really is a great thing for Massachusetts, and you should be excited about being right in the middle of all the great things that are going to happen. The governor and I certainly are. The second reason we're excited is collaboration, because despite all the advantages that we have had in the past, we have not been good collaborators here. And everybody's had we're a lot of smart people, and everyone's a little smarter than everybody else. And that's really the way we've done things. And in the last, we have a great history of innovation and entrepreneurship, but In the last couple years, I think what's most exciting to the governor and to me is that we're now seeing people working together in a way that they never have before. Universities working together, universities working with business people. And so one of the things we're really excited about the way that UMass Boston has done this Venture Development Center, and you heard it in the comments earlier, it is completely collaborative. You even mentioned the good works of other local universities in your remark. How about that? And I think there's a much greater sense here in Boston and in Massachusetts and New England that we can get a lot accomplished together. We should be proud of all the riches that we have. And you see a lot more of that cross-collaboration, and that's clearly the focus of the way you're doing things here, and that's exactly right as well. So that's another reason we're excited about this. The last thing that the governor and I are particularly excited about this Venture Development Center is, and it relates to what the chancellor said, is that we need to show everybody in Massachusetts that a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship by state government is providing economic opportunities for everybody, not just for a handful of smart kids who are lucky enough to go to MIT, although we love smart kids at MIT. But it's got to be, if we're going to tell the story, if the governor and I are going to tell the story about how we're trying to do a lot of things to promote innovation and entrepreneurship here, then we have to be able to show people how, no matter what your education, where you're coming from, what part of the state you live in, that is providing an economic opportunity for you. So one of the things that the work here at UMass Boston does is and you heard the story about the number of kids first-time college in their family. So this is a leading example for the governor and me how innovation and entrepreneurship does provide opportunities for everybody in the state. And that's a critical part of our continuing to advance that agenda, that no matter who you are, no matter what part of the state you're from, what we're doing gives you and your family a chance to be more successful. So thanks for all the great work you do.
Thank you so much, Secretary Bielecki. We have, to close our program, a person who, his name is Doug Banks. He is the editor and recently became a publisher of Mass High Tech, which many of you know is the gold standard anywhere in the world for chronicling the innovation economy and cheering us on. Mass High Tech includes not only the magazine that we read and the website that we look at every day, but a bunch of e-newsletters, some really amazing events, one of which is coming up next week that I look forward to going to on healthcare, IT, and the cloud. All of these things spotlight entrepreneurship in Massachusetts and New England in a way that makes it very accessible for many people to follow and join in. Doug joined Mass High Tech as editor in 2005, added publisher to his title in January of 2010. In that time, Mass High Tech launched several new products and won several regional and national awards for journalism. He was formerly an editor at the Boston Business Journal, where we first met him. He was also at Fast Company magazine. He has taught journalism and writing at such colleges and universities as Emerson College, Boston College, Endicott College, and the University of Pittsburgh, with one notable absence, the University of Massachusetts. So consider this an invitation. He is a very strong community leader. He has many outside interests in nonprofits and has been very active in the innovation economy in the region in the MIT Enterprise Forum, the New England Clean Energy Council, the Mass Technology Leadership Council, MITx, and Tech America. Those are the organizations that drive the innovation economy in Massachusetts. So Doug, welcome, and we'd love to hear your comments on what all this adds up to.
Thank you, Bill. So I was, it looks like I'm the anchor leg of this race, so thank you to that. I would like everybody to just turn to your neighbor real quick and say, the talking's almost done. Go ahead, do it. Okay, we're going to get through this, and you can get back to your drinking and eating and having some good connecting and networking time. But I want to thank you all very much for letting me speak here. Congratulations to Bill, to Dan, to Benjamin, Chancellor Motley, Dean Qualieri, the entire UMass Boston campus, really, for your accomplishments, not only in establishing the Entrepreneurship Center and the VDC, but also for your commitment to what may be two of the most important priorities of the innovation economy, certainly two priorities that I hold dear to my heart, which is entrepreneurship and education. If you don't mind me quoting Ken Morse, who used to run another entrepreneurship center that some of you may have heard of across the river, he paraphrased Howard Stevenson of Harvard Business School when he told me, entrepreneurship is pursuing a project without having the resources needed to finish it, starting before you have everything you need to get it done. I like that definition of entrepreneurship, and with that in mind, it makes sense that tough economic times can be the best of times for entrepreneurs. Not willing to put your trust in a large company? Why not start something new? That's exactly what's been happening here in Massachusetts over the past 2 years. As a business journalist in the Boston area since the 1990s, I've covered both booms and busts. I can honestly say that the startup activity here since the fall of 2008 has been as busy as ever. More and more people are willing to start something new without the benefit of a safety net. And not just here in Massachusetts, this is also a nationwide phenomenon. According to the Kauffman Foundation, 2009 had the highest national rate of new business creation in 14 years. The environment for helping entrepreneurs here in New England is maturing every day. Just this morning in the Mass High Tech Startup Report, we covered 2 new ventures built to boost entrepreneurship. One was the Founder Institute, a national project that accelerates startup creation by linking entrepreneurs to mentors. That's coming to Boston in 2 weeks. And the second is being started by Avid's founder, Bill Warner. He's an active angel investor, most of you probably know. He ran an investment boot camp earlier this month. He's a major backer of Techstars, which is now in its 2nd year. And he's starting up a new effort called Anything Goes Accelerator Lab. It's in Kendall Square, and unlike other programs, it's less about developing business plans and more about developing entrepreneurs themselves. Of course, there's no shortage of business plan competitions. There have been so many in the last couple of years, we can't actually keep up with writing about all of them. And now we've got the mother of them all called Mass Challenge, which again, some of you may have heard about. But I know that the VDC prides itself on being the place where actual businesses, not just business plans, are built and made. It's great to see UMass Boston beginning to play a role in the entrepreneurial ecosystem here. I can speak from firsthand knowledge as well of the quality of UMass Boston students because our last 2 interns that we've had at Mass High Tech have come from UMass Boston, including our current sales and marketing summer intern, Seema Khan, who's an undergraduate. We're thrilled to have her. It's also personally gratifying as someone who is himself the product of a public school education to see that public education has a role to play in the innovation economy. If you look at the mission statement of this campus, access is the first on the list. In my opinion, this commitment is absolutely critical if we are to continue to fill the pipeline of talent that will be needed as this season's startups become tomorrow's powerhouses. Last year's record-setting entrepreneurship activity, again, the busiest in 14 years, was led not by young white Ivy Leaguers, but by older Americans and African Americans. So there is a place for an entrepreneurship center whose mission is based in education and grounded in its commitment to providing access to all who seek that education. If we want trailblazers to drive our innovation economy, it seems to me we should be looking for more first-generation college graduates. They are the groundbreakers, as you heard Chancellor Motley mentioned earlier. They are the ones who aren't afraid to fail, or if they are, after all, who isn't afraid to fail? They aren't afraid to make the attempt anyway. In Silicon Valley, you'll hear it said, you're not a true entrepreneur until you've lost your first million. Here in New England, we tend to be a little bit more conservative. We celebrate winners. We rarely celebrate the losers, too, those who have fought or continue to fight the entrepreneurship battle daily, those who haven't won yet, those who may not ultimately win, but whose efforts contribute to an overall environment where risk is not only tolerated, but welcomed. So with that, I want to thank you again for allowing me to be here and to speak to you. Congratulations to the Entrepreneurship Center. Your mission is noble. Your role is needed. May your risks be rewarded.
Thank you very much, Doug. I'm making an executive decision I'm making an executive decision to keep the beverages flowing for another half hour. And I'd like to thank everyone here. Chancellor Motley, thank you so much, everyone, for making this event possible. Also, a special thanks to the University of Massachusetts, Boston. This was a leap of faith for the university to do this. Hopefully, we're ringing the chimes. It certainly feels that way to me. But thank you to everyone, from the people who clean our floors, to the people who help finance us, to the founders, the amazing founders that we get to work with every day. All of them are here tonight. And to my dear friend John Ciccarelli, who had the idea with me about 5 or 6 years ago. We just had to wait for the right chancellor to be here. Thank you very much.